Well, the two biggest differences, if I may be so bold as to say so, is you two. Boom. So there's that. I love working with both of you a lot. I like the spirit and energy that you bring to it. I love how organized you are, but also how organized you are with this open palette of allowing me as a collaborator and as an artist to, you have a very strong vision for what you need it to be, but within the parameters of what that box is, there's a ton of freedom. And I really like that a lot. I like shooting on our shoots because it's like we need to be here and we need to be here for like 20 minutes, and it's true, and there needs to be this jar and these lights and all of these elements that normally everybody would say that's never going to happen in 20 minutes, and it always does. It always does. It's amazing. And the thing that's beautiful about it is that the construct is really, like, what's gorgeous about this collection of stories and pieces that make up the universe is that they're all so beautifully simple, and they kind of like express exactly what I like to teach, which is show it, don't say it, and if you keep it simple and you really invest in the moment, it's amazing how rich and how full that can be. So what I love most about it is you all. The other thing that's interesting about it is that every time I show up on set, I have no idea what's going on until I know it's true. I don't know what we're shooting. I know there's the universe. I know that, and I know that there's going to be a camera involved, and sometimes I know there's a black box, and sometimes I know there's a beach, and then there's a creek, and I know there's you, and then I know there's you, there's Andrew, and yeah, so it's fun for me because I know if I bring my gear, and the camera's locked and loaded, and there's batteries, I know that something will happen. The end. Thank you. I'll see you later. That's a tough one because, I love so many of the moments. I think the first day was so great because we were discovering so many things brand new, and, we were doing some fun things using the little Dana Dolly and going over you and, all of that. And that was the first time we really started exploring the jar and the lights, and there was just some lovely, simple, beautiful stuff. I actually think my favorite memory and my favorite moment of filming is when we were out at Matador, and it was kind of almost stormy, and it was wet and cold. You got really wet and cold, but it was that day that we had you both, and we had you younger and younger. That was a really cool day. And then you had the mothers or the parents of the younger and younger, I should call them younger and even younger versions of Alicia's character. And it was amazing because those girls were really stunning when we started shooting. And the wind in their hair and the whole little family, universe family, it was so cool. It really was. And then the shots of you walking, and we got that little glimpse of those birds, and there were just these little magic things that seemed to be happening that day. It was pretty dreamy. And so part of my process and what was just asked was, what is that Cain thing that happens when I see something and I say, do that part again, because I want to shoot it differently. And a great example of that is when Kate was, as the universe was on the floor with the jar, and I realized that the shot was to get the camera down on the floor with the jar and pull focus between her fingers walking around the jar and then back to her. It's this beautiful private moment, but that was one of those moments when I thought, oh yeah, we're finding this. Like, and I knew we would. So that's a perfect example of seeing it and going, oh no, it's not up here, it's down here, you know? And it's really gorgeous because you're not just racking focus through the fingers or to the fingers and then through the fingers, but on the way back to you, you're going through the jar. You know, you're going past the jar and through the jar. So as a filmmaker and as a shooter, I love when focus finds itself. I love when pulling focus is motivated rather than it's just a cool shot. Yeah. So I have one more thing I have to say. Why I love working on this project. So imagine, if you will, Alicia, student, filmmaker, lab, Kate, one day of dance for camera, senior reels, student, her film at the college, and Kurt Pena. I think I had him for acting for camera one. I think it was either one or two. He was really young then, so it might have been one. I think he was fresh at AMDA. But Kurt, of course, being who created the artwork that this was all inspired by and based on, he's such just a great young soul, and he's so genuine in his appreciation of everybody making anything that's worth making, but especially of this. He just thinks it's magic. It's, you know, and he knows it's not. He knows it's very practical, and that you both, especially you both, work really hard at this. But like when we've had the screenings here, for me, some students call me Papa Cain, and it feels a little bit like that. It's pretty great. Like, if you love to teach, and you love to make movies, and you love to collaborate, enough said. There you go.